She's the one who shot her.
Restraining order, but she shot her.
Oh my fucking God!
The baby in the car, how you feel? She just dropped her. Get up. You scared as hell, right? Scared as hell. She's scared as hell. Why did you self-defense? You were trying to self in the car, bro. You're throwing you in the car, bro. What are you talking about? You had her in a headlock. And then you shot her, Brody. I was there. Oh, I just think they're going to everybody.
I want her arrested. They can fucking gun on the street.
How do you post "worst day of my life" when you stood there when you let the mother of your child get murdered right in front of you? No, really. Let that sink in. Imagine a woman who gave everything for her son, who woke up early every morning, packed his lunch, and still found the time to slip a little handwritten note inside just to remind him that he was loved. That was the kind of mother Romeca Meeks was. And yet, hours after she was killed in cold blood, her ex, the man who should have protected her, ran to Facebook and performed grief for the world to see. Fake tears, crocodile tears, hypocrisy in broad daylight. And the question we need to ask: how do killers and enablers get away with turning themselves into victims online while the real victims, like Romeca, are buried in silence? Stay with me, because the story is not just about one tragedy, it's about betrayal, audacity, and the dangerous way social media is used to rewrite history. Before we even talk about her death, we have to talk about her life. Romeca Meeks wasn't just another name in the headlines. She wasn't just another victim. She was a mother, a damn good mother. The kind of mom who, no matter what struggles she faced, stood on business when it came to her son. She lived for him. Every choice she made, every sacrifice, every hustle, it was all about making sure he had what he needed. Picture this. It's a Monday morning, September 8th, 2025. The start of a new school week. For most of us, it's just another day. But for Romeca, it was about the little rituals that meant the world to her boy. She didn't just pack his lunch, she made it special. She didn't just send him off to school, she sent him off with love sealed in handwriting. A note tucked into his lunchbox that said, "Love, Mommy." Do you understand the weight of that? That little boy's last memory of his mother is that note. Not her hugs at graduation, not her smile at his wedding. A note in a lunchbox. That's the kind of mom Romeca was. She did her big, every single day. And that's what makes what happened next so painful, so infuriating, so unforgivable. Broad daylight. 2200 block of South State Street. Romeca had just dropped her son off at school. She probably thought it was just another morning, another chance to see her boy walk into class safe and sound. She probably thought she could finally breathe for a moment before the rest of her day began. But Carlos, her ex, known on the streets as Losos Way, had other plans. He didn't show up with flowers, with apologies, or even with respect. He showed up with violence, and worse, he didn't come alone. Witnesses say there was a confrontation. Carlos grabbed her, put her in a headlock, and then his new girlfriend pulled out a gun. One shot, straight to the head, and just like that, a child was orphaned. Now here's the part that gets me. The girlfriend later tried to spin it. She claimed she was a licensed carrier acting in self-defense. Self-defense? Against a mother who had just dropped her son off at school. Witnesses were there. They saw everything. And they shut that lie down quick. But you know what hurts more than the gunshot? More than the lie? The fact that Carlos, Romeca's ex, the father of her child, stood right there. He didn't stop it. He didn't protect her. He didn't step in. He let it happen. And hours later, he had the audacity to go online and post, "Worst day of my life." Now, let's talk about the part that made the story explode with anger: the audacity online. Because here's the thing, Carlos didn't just go home. He didn't stay silent. He didn't rush to comfort his son, who just lost his mother. No, Carlos ran to Facebook. And what did he post? Just hours after Romeca was murdered in broad daylight, hours after he stood there and let it happen, Carlos typed out, "Worst day of my life." Worst day of his life? Do you feel the disrespect in that? Romeca is gone. A little boy is now motherless. And Carlos has the nerve to get on social media, fishing for sympathy, acting like he's the victim, like he lost something he cared about. Let's be real. He didn't protect her. He didn't defend her. He didn't shield her from danger. He let another woman pull a gun and end the life of the mother of his child. And then, when it was convenient, he wanted likes. He wanted comments. He wanted people to flood his page with "Stay strong, bro," and "Keep your head up." Fake tears. Crocodile tears. That's what it was. And here's the ugly truth about social media. It allows people like Carlos to rewrite reality, to flip the script, to turn themselves into the victim when they were part of the crime. And people fall for it, because not everyone knows the full story. Some saw that post and thought, oh no, per Carlos, he must be devastated. But devastated men don't stand by and watch the mother of their child get executed. Devastated men don't let their girlfriends pull the trigger. Ask yourself this: was that grief? Or was that guilt? Was that pain? Or was that performance? And maybe the better question is, why do we let social media make people like Carlos look human when their actions are inhumane? Because look at the contrast. Romeca spent her last morning writing her son a note that said, "Love, mommy." Meanwhile, Carlos spent his night writing, "Worst day of my life." One note came from love. The other came from audacity. And that's what makes this story viral. That's what makes people angry. Because it's not just about a woman being killed. It's about the insult added after. The way her memory was hijacked by the very man who stood by and did nothing. So let me ask you, what's worse, the crime itself, or the lie that followed it? We've talked about Romeca. We've talked about Carlos. But now, we need to talk about the one person at the center of all of this. The one person who lost the most, her son. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about adults fighting, adults betraying, adults lying. It's about a little boy who woke up one morning with a mother and went to bed that night without her. Let that sink in. That morning, he hugged her goodbye. He walked into school with a lunchbox. Inside that lunchbox was food she prepared with her own hands. And tucked between the sandwiches and snacks was a note, her handwriting, her love poured into ink on paper. "Love, mommy." That was her. That was her final gift. Her last words to him. And say, "Mom, I had a hard day." This little boy will open a lunchbox one day and find the note his mom wrote before she was killed. That note becomes everything. A piece of paper becomes the memory of a lifetime. And here's the cruel part: while his mom was doing everything she could to show him love, his father, Carlos, was doing everything to show him betrayal. Because what kind of man allows his son's mother to be harmed like that? What kind of father chooses silence, chooses cowardice, chooses performance instead of protection? Carlos may have lost a partner, but that boy lost his entire world. He lost the person who tucked him in at night, the person who cheered at his school events, the person who told him, "No matter what, mommy's got you." Now, what does he have? A father who hides behind crocodile tears, and a memory that will haunt him forever. And this is where I need you, the viewers, to ask yourselves something. When kids lose their parents in tragedies like this, who really steps in for them? Who carries that weight? Who helps them heal? Because the truth is, sometimes we focus so much on the headlines, so much on the drama, that we forget there's a child at the heart of the story. A child who has to live with this. Think about him. Think about the first time he goes back to school. Every other kid's mom is still there, still alive, still cheering. He's sitting there knowing his mom didn't come back because someone chose violence and his own father stood by. That boy is the real victim, not Carlos, not the girlfriend who pulled the trigger, not the people trying to justify it online. The real victim is that little boy who will grow up remembering the love of a mother and the betrayal of a father, And if you don't feel anger about that, if you don't feel heartbreak about that, then maybe you've forgotten what it means to be human. So tell me this. Should a man like Carlos even be allowed to raise that boy now? Or should the system step in and say, you forfeited that right when you chose silence over protection? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is where the real debate begins. Here's where I need you to really pay attention. Because while this story is about Romeca and Carlos, it's also about all of us. About the way we, as a society, eat up fake grief. The way we reward crocodile tears. The way social media has become a stage for people to act like victims even when they're the villains. Think about it. Carlos didn't rush to the police station. He didn't call a press conference. He didn't apologize to Romeca's family. He rushed to Facebook, and on that stage, in front of thousands of people, he performed. He didn't perform heroism. He didn't perform accountability. He performed sorrow, and people ate it up. Stay strong, bro. Praying for you, fam. God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers. The comments poured in, and just like that, the man who stood by while the mother of his child was murdered became the one getting sympathy. This is the sickness of social media. It rewards performance, not truth. It rewards captions, not character. You can be a villain in real life, but if you can type out a sad status and post a crying emoji, people will believe you're the victim. And here's the dangerous part. Those lies don't just make Carlos look better, they make Romeca fade. They erase her truth. They make the headlines about his pain instead of her sacrifice. But let me ask you this, how many times have we seen this before? How many times has a man hurt a woman, then gone online and played the grieving partner? How many times has someone caused chaos, then logged onto Instagram or Twitter to play the hero? How many times has the world believed the first post they see instead of waiting for the facts? This isn't just a Carlos problem. This is a people problem. And I'll say something controversial. Sometimes, the audience is guilty too. Because we're so quick to react. We're so quick to like, to share, to type, sending prayers. We boost the wrong people. We give a platform to the liars while the victims get buried twice, once in the ground, and once online. And that's why this story should make you angry. Not just because of Carlos's hypocrisy, but because of the way society let him play that role. So here's my question to you. Should social media hold people accountable for false performances of grief? Or is it up to us, the audience, to stop rewarding it with attention? Because here's the truth. Every like on Carlos's post was a slap in the face to Romeca's memory. Every prayer for him was a prayer stolen from the boy who actually needed it. So think about that next time you see a post like his. Don't just ask who's hurting, ask who's lying. And I'll ask you directly, what do you think Carlos's Facebook post was? Was it guilt? Was it manipulation? Or was it just pure audacity? Drop your answers in the comments, because I want to see how many people are finally ready to call this out for what it is. Before anyone writes their own version of this story, before anybody runs with their own headline or tries to spin their own narrative, start with this. Romeca Meeks was a damn good mom. Period. She stood on business when it came to her son. No matter what life threw at her, no matter what battles she faced, she showed up. She did her big every single day. And she didn't just love her boy, she lived for him. That's the story that needs to be told first. Not Carlos's fake tears. Not the girlfriend's fake self-defense excuse. The story of a mother who poured her life into her child. So it's take a moment for her. A moment of silence for a woman whose love was real, whose sacrifice was real, and whose memory deserves respect. And now, let's talk about what happens next. Because there's still a boy left behind. A boy who needs more than sympathy. He needs protection. He needs guidance. He needs people who will stand on truth when his father could not. And that's where all of us come in. Because it's easy to get caught up in the drama, in the rage, in the Facebook posts. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that little boy. That's the one who lost the most. That's the one who carries the pain. So while Carlos plays the victim online, let's not forget who the real victim is. And here's what I want to leave you with. How many more times are we going to see this play out? How many more times will people get away with standing by during violence, then running online to perform sadness for likes? How many more mothers will have their stories stolen by men who couldn't even protect them? Because it feels like every time this happens, society rewards the wrong person. And maybe it's time we stop. So I'll ask you again, directly. Do you think Carlos's Facebook post was genuine grief? Or do you think it was manipulation and active performance to save face while his son cries himself to sleep without his mother? Should someone like him even be allowed to raise that boy after letting this happen? Drop your answers in the comments, because this isn't just a story, it's a conversation. And the louder we make it, the harder it is for fake tears to drown out real truth. Rip Romeca Meeks, forever remembered as a mother who chose her child until the very end. If you watched this far, I want to hear your thoughts. Do not hold back. Was Carlos a coward? Was he complicit? Or was this just the ultimate display of audacity we see way too often on social media? Hit the comments. Let's talk about it. Because this isn't just about one family, this is about how we, as a society, deal with fake grief, real loss, and who we choose to believe. And to Romeca's son, if one day you see this, know this. Your mom's love was real. It was written in every lunchbox note, every sacrifice, every breath she took for you. And no Facebook post can ever erase that truth.